It's another weekend of football, and yes, we all are excited. Hello everyone, good day, and welcome to our weekend episode of Sports Hub with Eberi. My name is Eberi Oji, your host on the show, being aired on the Anchor app. Here on the show, as always, we bring to you live updates on sporting events, games, and activities all over the world, with our center of reference being football and all things pertaining footballing activities. You are welcome once again. Now, a lot has happened. Today is the 8th day in the month of April, but trust me, in the last 6 days, a lot has happened. A lot has happened in a certain West London club called Chelsea, and of course, Real Madrid. I'm going to talk about both teams and the bad things and the good things that has happened so far in the two teams, honestly, especially Chelsea Football Club. Chelsea Football Club on the 2nd of April. In fact, on the 1st of April, they had a Graham Potter manage defeat against Aston Villa. On the 2nd of April, he was sacked. He was sacked after 7 months at the club. He joined the Chelsea Football Club on the 8th of September after Graham Potter. After what's his name again? After Tuchel was sacked. Yeah. So he joined Chelsea on the 8th, around 8th, 9th of September, and 7 months after, he has been relieved of his job as Chelsea head coach. So he got sacked after that defeat against Aston Villa. Results were not progressive, they were retrogressing. Chelsea has been on 10th place for many months now, and that loss against Aston Villa saw them retrogress further to 11th place. This is an Aston Villa that used to be on 11th place, but now Aston Villa are on 7th place. So you can imagine, you see the difference. So it was not okay. It was not okay at all. The board, the new owners had to say no. We expected better, and they sacked him. Now, on the 5th, yes, if I'm not mistaken, on the 5th, he was sacked on the 2nd. Now, he's as one of his assistants, a Spanish guy. His name is Bruno Salto. He was declared interim head coach until the end of the season. Why? Interviews for a new permanent coach has kicked off. The likes of Luis Enrique, the likes of Julian Nagelsmann. At some point, we heard about Don Ancelotti, but they rebuffed such claims. We had so many coaches, so many names. Pochettino, a lot of names have been coming up. And all that. But they don't want to make, the owners and the board don't want to make hasty decisions of appointing someone immediately. So they won't end up making the mistake they made with Graham Potter. They have come out to admit, not really coming out, I don't bet there's been side talks that they admitted they made a wrong decision of hiring a Graham Potter for Chelsea. Chelsea is a big club. I personally wanted Potter to succeed at the beginning of when he joined. He went on a 9-game unbeaten streak, though he had some draws in those games and all that. He took Chelsea from the group stage. We won our group stage games. I guess we drew one or thereabout. Took them from the group stage. They qualified. 16. They lost against Dortmund in the first leg and finally won at Stamford Bridge, second leg against Dortmund by 2-0, qualifying for the quarterfinal. So he did well in the Champions League, but in the league, it's something that has been so appalling. I initially said, okay, Chelsea should be giving him at least a transfer market. Players were also out injured. They needed to come back from injury and stuff like that. They needed to come back from injury. Do you understand? And now these players came back from injury, and they got players in the general transfer market. But I was like, okay, February, at least mid of February, things will change. Things will change, results will change. But it was still the same thing. In fact, his substitutions became something else. Like he said, it was. Kai Havertz would not play something tangible, but he would still leave him to play 90 minutes. There are certain ways you could tweak a team. I remember when Conte was at Chelsea in 2016, Chelsea lost against Arsenal. Then it was against Liverpool. He changed to a 3-4-3. using wing backs. And Chelsea, we had already considered it 2-1 or thereabout, but that was the last game Chelsea lost. Like, we went on a 12 unbeaten streak. We were not drawing games. Chelsea was winning games. Over 12 games wins, as in 12 win streak. Do you understand? Like, an unbeaten streak all through, and they were not draws. Like, 12 games, 12 wins. Because he changed the tactics inside the pitch. But Graham Potter was not that kind of person that would effect such changes. Like, even when he makes his substitutions, his substitutions were whack. Do you understand? His substitutions were whack. They were not it at all. His substitutions were not it at all. Do you understand? His substitutions were not it. Like, okay, look at the Everton game, for instance. Before the international break, Chelsea, they were winning by 1-0. Do you understand? This was our third EPL game. Win, at least, they were winning. They won against Leicester City. The feeling of the winning vibe was already returning back to the team. Okay, against Everton, you are winning by 1-0. 62 minutes, you are bringing a Gallagher, and you are removing a Pulisic that is a winger, and you are bringing in a Gallagher. Like, who does that? Tactically, he was not sound. Tactically, he was not sound at all. Do you understand? Tactically, he was not sound at all. He was not sound one bit. So, in fact, after that loss against Aston Villa, he needed to leave. So, Bruno Salto became the interim head coach. He became the interim head coach. 1 minute, please. So he became the interim head coach, and his press conferences were not convincing. He said, okay, what was it? What was that word? He said that he has not actually selected the starting 11 before. He doesn't have that experience. That he has been talking to Potter. That was not that. The vibe was not there. This is something you are giving this on a platter. Okay, we'll try as much as possible. There are certain convincing, talks you would say during a press conference that would the owners will let's just give him a try and see how well he goes. Against Liverpool, his selections were okay, but the people we had in front were bombs, like the likes of Kai Havertz, the likes of Joe Felix, and Kovacic. They didn't do well. Kante played well. Kante, for the 60 something minutes he played, something minutes he played, he was everywhere. Like, he played. It was as if he never left. Honestly, I missed Kante. I missed the way he plays football. He played the feel of playing like a number 10. Do you understand? He created a lot of chances, but then those in front were just they didn't maximize the opportunities and the chances Kante and Enzo Fernandez created to score goals. That game should have ended at least 4 goals against Liverpool. If the forwards we had were decisive, if the forwards we had were they were clinical with the ball on their feet. Do you understand? So it didn't happen. The game ended in a goalless draw, and surprisingly, we saw a Frank Lampard watching the game. Though he said he had already booked that ticket for a while now. It was not related to the Chelsea job and all. Then after that game, that game was on the 5th. On the 6th, we started hearing a lot of talks. In fact, on the 6th, he was declared interim coach for Chelsea to the end of the season. He came in and he gave everyone an impressive press conference. He said he already has a plan of what to do. He was not fidgeting because this is a club legend. This is someone that knows the club. This is someone that has been at the club for many years, 13 years as a player, and also coached this club at least from 2019 down to 2021. So he knows the club very, very well. He's a club legend. He's a Premier League Hall of Famer. Like, he knows that Chelsea is a winning club. We are not a drawing. We're not 11. We're not supposed to be on 11th place. He said they were not supposed to be on 11th place. So we'll try as much as possible to ensure that the winning mentality is brought back to the club. And for the first time in 7 months, Chelsea fans had this, finally a coach that knows how to talk. Not the ones that will tell us he gave everything. He gave everything. He gave everything. Yeah, at least there was this feeling of, finally we can have someone that, okay, yes, he knows what he's talking about. He knows what direction he's going towards and all that. He's not scared of any player. If you're not playing well, he benches you because he has won it. Or what have you won? What is it you have won that he has not won? Do you understand? So it was a good feeling. But the issue I have now is I hope Chelsea the owners, because the owners might, it is vibe. I call it, this is more like vibes. I know. I hope the owners will say, because Lampard did well, let us give him the permanent job. Please, we don't need that. Guus Hindig came in as an interim coach for us after Villas-Boas was sacked at some point. Yes, Villas-Boas, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, in 2009 or so, we won the FA Cup. He came in when Mourinho was sacked in 2015, and we tried as much as possible to get, we got somewhere. We ended, but at least we won some games and drew some, let it just be that same terrain. We don't need a Lampard second missionary journey as a permanent manager. No. Chelsea, we are bigger than that. We are, because next season is on a clean slate. Next season we are going for a manager that can win us trophies. We've got the squad, for crying out loud. We've got the squad. Chelsea has got the squad. We've got everything. We just need someone to direct, to steer this ship of players. Those that are not doing well, we sell them off. Those that are surplus to requirement, Chelsea sells them off. Those that are going to be useful to the requirements we need as a team or as a club would remain. But we need a coach that has won something, an elite coach. I'm not saying Lampard is not good, but Lampard would fit the likes of Crystal Palace, like of Bournemouth. At least he's growing. Do you understand? English managers, no, not on a permanent basis. He's gonna do well as an interim, but I just hope and pray that Todd Boehly and co would not say, he did well, he won us 9 games, he got us to the Champions League finals, he got us even if we win the Champions League, we don't need a Lampard as a permanent manager. Please, we don't need him as a permanent. We need someone else. Like we are done with English managers. Please. So now Chelsea on the second stacked Graham Potter, on the appointed Bruno Salto. Bruno Salto was the head coach in charge of the Liverpool game on the 5th. And now, on the 8th, being today, by 3 p.m., we'll have another coach in the person of Frank Lampard. He'll be the head coach in charge of the Wolves game. We've so far had 4 managers in less than 8 months at Chelsea Football Club. In less than 8 months at Chelsea Football Club. So it is what it is. It's been a frenzy. It's been a crazy transition. It's been a crazy season for fans of Chelsea, everyone affiliated to Chelsea Football Club. But that it is what it is. For Real Madrid, it is quite interesting that they have rediscovered their mojo, their goal scoring mojo. Before, Real Madrid would concede and start dragging, or maybe they would score and maybe they end up conceding 1-1, 2-2, stuff like that. But now, in their last 2 games, Madrid has scored 10 goals and they have not conceded any goal. Yes. They have scored 10 goals and they have not conceded any goal. The first game they played over the week, that was on Sunday, on the 2nd of April. They won that game against Real Valladolid 6-0. And their talisman, their skipper, Karim Benzema, scored a hat-trick in that game. 6-0. On the 5th, they played against their arch rivals, Barca. The first leg they played, that was in the Copa del Rey. Barca won that game. It was an own goal by Militao. Militao scored an own goal in the first leg, 1-0. Now, the semi-finals was played on the 5th, as in the second leg of the semi-finals of the Copa del Rey was played at Spotify Camp Nou. That's Barca's home turf. Yes, on the 5th. And we saw what happened. Like, it was Real Madrid ran the show. Vinicius ran the show. Vinicius was, in fact, he was everywhere. The likes of Camavinga. I enjoy Camavinga playing football than I enjoy that of Tauchumeni. Tauchumeni gives people this. There's this sense of you're always scared, tension and everything. But Camavinga calms the ball. Like, you can say his name, Camavinga, calming the ball, Camavinga. Like, he calms the midfield. And he plays good football. So that, I believe, Don Carlo Ancelotti understands that, in fact, this guy is a good one. That's why he tends to play him ahead of Tauchumeni. So he played well. Vinicius played well. Modric, everyone was on point. Even Benzema. Benzema scored a hat-trick in that El Clasico at Camp Nou. In fact, this is the first hat-trick since 1995 in an El Clasico, and this is the first time Madrid will be qualifying for the Copa del Rey finals since 2014. They will be playing against Osasuna on the 6th of May this year. That's next week, next month rather, next month. And I see them winning. I don't see Osasuna standing a chance against Madrid. So it's a good one. It's a good one for Real Madrid. Kudos Don Ancelotti, and kudos Madrid. But my issue now is, I look at it. Is this not more of a coincidence that they'll be playing Chelsea on the 12th of April and now they've rediscovered their mojo? They've rediscovered their goal scoring mojo, like a Karim Benzema that always, he has been injured. He has been having injury issues since beginning of the season. Since he picked up his Ballon d'Or trophy, he has been having issues with injuries, this, injuries, that, and all that. He has been having issues with difficulties and challenges in scoring goals. But now, Benzema knows where the goal, as he knows where the 18-yard box of his opposition is. Like, he scores goals now. Imagine scoring 6 goals in 2 games. Wow. 6 goals in 2 games, man. And they play Chelsea on the 12th. That's on Wednesday, next week Wednesday. It's going to take the grace or something extraordinary for Chelsea to win against Madrid, because, man, let me just keep my fingers let's keep our fingers crossed. Now, moving on to the games for the weekend. The games for the weekend, that's this weekend. This is game week 30, and Arsenal are still top of the league. You have to give it to them, to be honest. You have to give it to them. They truly have fought this battle of staying up very well. No rival. They will win this. No rival. Forget about Man City. They will win this. Another test will come up tomorrow at Anfield against Liverpool. Liverpool, the game we played tomorrow by that game we played tomorrow by 4:30 p.m. But for today being the 8th day in the month of April 2023, we've got 8 games that will be played today. Manchester United would welcome Everton. It's an early kickoff by 12:30 p.m. today. Man United versus Everton by 12:30 p.m. Aston Villa will take on Nottingham Forest. Aston Villa will take on Nottingham Forest by 3 p.m. Brentford will take on Newcastle by 3 p.m. Fulham will take on West Ham by 3 p.m. Leicester City will welcome Bournemouth by 3 p.m. And we have over 6 games that will be played by 3 p.m. today. Tottenham will play against Brighton. It is Tottenham versus Brighton by 3 p.m. And finally, Wolves versus Chelsea by 3 p.m. 6 games, goal rush, 3 p.m. today. 3 p.m. We have Aston Villa versus Nottingham Forest by 3 p.m. Brentford versus Newcastle by 3 p.m. Fulham versus West Ham by 3 p.m. Leicester City versus Bournemouth by 3 p.m. Tottenham versus Brighton by 3 p.m. And finally, Wolves will take on Chelsea by 3 p.m. Southampton, the last game for today is going to be Southampton versus Manchester City by 5:30 p.m. On Sunday, being tomorrow, we have Leeds United versus Crystal Palace by 2 p.m. And finally, the game everyone will be looking and waiting and expecting is the Liverpool versus Arsenal game. Liverpool played against, who did they even play against? I know they've played very tough games in the last three games now. It's been very, very tough games. Very, very tough games. They played against Chelsea, and they're going to play against Arsenal. Since they played against Arsenal, and they played against Man City or Man United. No, not Man United. Man United, they won Man United 7-0. Like, it's been very tough games. It's been very, very tough games. Very tough games. Like, yes, they played against Man City. They played against Man City over the weekend. They played against Chelsea midweek, and they just got 1 point in the last 2 games, and now they're going to play against Arsenal at Anfield by 4:30 p.m. In their last, let me go over their head-to-head. In the last 50 games, Liverpool has won 17, Arsenal has won 19, and they've drawn 14. In their last 5 games, however, Liverpool has won 3, Arsenal has won 1, and they have drawn 1. The good thing about this fixture for Liverpool fans is that at Anfield, the last time Arsenal won at Anfield was in 2012. Then Arsene Wenger was still a head coach. In fact, Arsenal always concedes more than 2 goals at Anfield. Do you understand? But the thing is, Arsenal presently are on. They've played 29 games and they have 72 points. Liverpool, on the other hand, they have played 28 games and they just have 43 points, and they are languishing in 8th place. That's roughly a 29-point gap between both teams. How the tides tend to change. So, are we going to see a Liverpool that has always had the bragging rights against Arsenal at Anfield in the last 5, 6 years, 7 years, or is it going to be The same thing, Arsenal has been winning against top clubs. They've been winning the games. People feel that Arsenal will not win. Arsenal go ahead to win those games, and they win it convincingly. We don't struggle to. They win those games expressly. So is it going to be the Arsenal that we've known all through this season, that are on first place with 72 points after 29 games played, or is it going to be the Arsenal of last season before last, losing against Liverpool at Anfield? Let's see what happens. Remember, Gabriel Jesus is back and he scored 2 goals in their last game. He's back, he's buzzing. The likes of Odegaard, the likes of Saka, the likes of Martinelli, the likes of what's his name? Granit Xhaka, the likes of Thomas Partey. Saliba is out injured, but Gabriel and Holding, they've been doing well. The likes of Zinchenko, the likes of Ben White, they've been playing good football. So let's see what happens. And of course, Trossard has over 7-8 assists since he joined Arsenal in January. So they've got star players, they've got very good players that know how to score goals. They know how to play as a team and they know how to score goals. Liverpool, on the other hand, they've not been scored. In fact, I guess there's just 1 goal they've scored since the 5th of March. 1-2 goals they've scored since the 5th of March. In fact, they scored all their goals against Manchester United on the 5th of March. Since that 7-0 debacle, Liverpool, they've not gotten themselves, to be honest. They've not gotten themselves. So let's see what happens. That game will be played tomorrow by 4:30 p.m. It is Liverpool versus Arsenal by 4:30 p.m. Now, Manchester United versus Everton. Manchester United struggled to win against Brentford at Old Trafford. This was their first win since they lost. That their seven new defeat to Liverpool. It's not been okay for them all three. It's not been okay for them since. So this is that was their first win against Brentford. It was a one goal to nil against Brentford. But one thing about Everton is that Sondage would always groom his players never to give up until the final whistle is blown. They did it against Arsenal. They scored against Arsenal 1-0. They got all 3 points. A shocking defeat for Arsenal. They did it against Chelsea. Chelsea, we were trailing by a goal to nil before a tactless Graham Potter decided to make those changes, and Everton countered on those changes and scored a goal. Chelsea scored 2-1. Graham Potter still went ahead to make another very mindless, needless change, and Chelsea ended up drawing that game 2-2 against the last game they played. The last game they played was against Tottenham. The last game they played was against Tottenham. That is Everton. They played against Tottenham, and that game ended up 1-1. So, Sean Dyche is this kind of manager that will tell his players not to give up until the final whistle is being blown. So, in this game, Manchester United shouldn't think that because they've scored a first goal in 27 minutes, the first 27 minutes of the game, they will decide to go and sleep or decide to play hardball. No, because any opportunity an Everton team gets now, they would go ahead to score a goal. They'll go ahead to score a goal. Yes, they'll go ahead to score a goal. Now, okay, so I feel Manchester United should be scoring more goals, because the more goals they score, the probability of winning that game will be high for Manchester United. Very good. Now, so in the next game I feel that will be very, very tough is the Brentford versus Newcastle game that will be played today by 3 p.m. Brentford, in the last 4 games, they have just 1 win in the last 5 games. But Newcastle, on the other hand, they have won their last 4 games. Do you understand? So a win for the visitors it's going to be possible. But then you don't take the home side, Brentford, for granted. Anything can happen. That game we played by 3 p.m. today. To be played by 3 p.m. today. Yes. Now, finally, Wolves versus Chelsea. Honestly, I'll be sitting on the fence because I don't know the Lampard that is here. Now, Lampard said he has evolved, he has changed, he has said so many sweet things, the vibe and all. So let's see the starting 11. My issue with this Lampard return also is Kepa. What happens to Kepa? Because I remember the last time it was they had to go and buy a new goalkeeper in the person of Mendy. At some point in the season, that is during that COVID period, Caballero was even the goalkeeper we had at Chelsea had at some point before the transfer market started in July, and Chelsea went ahead to get Mendy. So I don't know. I don't really know who will be the goalie in between the sticks today. Is it going to be Kepa or is it going to be Mendy? Let's see what happens. Wolves, in their last 5 games against Chelsea, it's been Last 5 minutes is against Chelsea. They've had 3 draws. Chelsea has won 1, and Wolves has won 1. Wolves have just 1 win in their last 5 games, while Chelsea has just 2 wins in their last 5. So what happens? Who's going to win today? The game we played by 3 p.m. What are your predictions? Kindly let us know. In the La Liga, yesterday we had a Friday night football. Yesterday being the 7th day in the month of April 2023. Sevilla won that game. Okay, Sevilla and Celta Vigo, it was a 2-2 draw rather. It was a 2-2 draw. It ended in a 2-2 draw. Now versus Elche by 1 p.m. Espanyol will take on Athletic Bilbao by 3:15 p.m. Real Sociedad will take on Getafe by 5:30 p.m. and finally Real Madrid will take on Villarreal by 8 p.m. Real Madrid versus Villarreal by 8 p.m. Tomorrow being Sunday, the 9th of April 2023, that's Easter Sunday, we have Real Vallecano versus Atletico Madrid. That game we played by 8 p.m. But we have some games that we played earlier before 8 p.m. We have Real Betis versus Cadiz by 3:15 p.m. Almeria will take on Valencia by 5:30 p.m. tomorrow. Monday night football, we have, that's on the 10th of April, we have Barcelona. Barcelona will take on Girona by 9 p.m. In the Bundesliga, we have Augsburg. Augsburg will take on FC Cologne today by 2:30 p.m. Bayer Leverkusen will take on Frankfurt by 2:30 p.m. And of course, Borussia Dortmund will take on Union Berlin by 2:30 p.m. Freiburg that defeated Bayern Munich in a cup game by 2-1 will play against Bayern today by 2 p.m. by 2:30 p.m. rather. Freiburg versus Bayern Munich by 2:30 p.m. So we'll see how Thomas Tuchel's Bayern, the Bavarians, would respond to that shocking defeat against Freiburg. The game we played by 2:30 p.m. today. In the Serie A, we have Atalanta versus Bologna by 3:30 p.m. Torino will take on Roma by 5:30 p.m. And finally, we have Lazio versus Juventus by 7:45 p.m. Honestly, yesterday, Salernitana played against Inter Milan. The game ended 1-1. Inter scored first before the halftime, but it was the 90th minute goal by Kandreva. That guy, the goal was massive. That goal should be a goal that will be in contention for either the goal of the month, or the goal of the season. The goal, it was actually a cross, but it ended up into the net. It was massive. It was massive. Kandreva used to play for Inter Milan. From Inter Milan, he went to Lazio. From Lazio, he now plays for Salernitana. So he scored a massive equalizer for his side against his former side. Wow. That game ended Inter Milan 1, Salernitana 1. So Lazio will take on Juventus today by 7:45 p.m. I'll go ahead again to talk about the Serie A games. We have Atalanta versus Bologna by 3:30 p.m. Torino will take on Roma by 5:30 p.m. and Lazio will take on Juventus by 7:45 p.m. Napoli won against Lecce by 2-1 yesterday, so it's a good one. League One. In the League One, we have Angers versus Lille by 4 p.m. Nice will take on PSG by 8 p.m. Christopher Glatia of PSG, the statement has been released that he will not be the head coach for next season. I don't just understand PSG. PSG, they keep changing coaches. It doesn't make sense. They need a coach with a firm hand. They need a coach with a firm grip. They need a coach that has won it all. And I feel Zidane would do and thrive well at PSG because the player power happening there is something that they need someone with a superior authority to place his mark there, and the owners should try as much as possible not to always interfere, because I believe it's too much interference that makes a coach lose focus. Christopher Glazer on a very good day is a very good coach, but then the player power and the interference, external interference from the owners of the club as in the first team has made it quite difficult for that man. He did well with Lille, and you can see it's just one season wonder, one season now at PSG, and by next season PSG will be out looking for a new coach. Julian Nagelsmann is out there. They said they've made contact, but I don't think Julian Nagelsmann wants to go to that kind of dressing room, and so many other coaches out there. In the next podcast I'll be talking about Julian Nagelsmann and Luis Enrique, who would be a better fit for Chelsea Football Club. Of course, Chelsea, we all know that Chelsea are out there. They are out there looking for a permanent manager that will take over the reins of the head as head coach from next season. What are your predictions for today's game? I would go over again for the game that is going to be played today in the EPL. We have Manchester United United starting very, very soon. Manchester United versus Everton by 12:30 p.m. Aston Villa will take on Nottingham Forest by 3 p.m. Brentford will take on Newcastle by 3 p.m. Fulham will take on West Ham by 3 p.m. Leicester City will take on Bournemouth. We all know Brendan Rodgers is out. He's out. Like he was relieved of his duty, so it is an assistant that is working now for at Leicester City. So Leicester City versus Bournemouth by 3 p.m. Tottenham versus Brighton will be played by 3 p.m. Wolves will take on Chelsea by 3 p.m. We have over 3 p.m. games that we played today. And finally, today we have Southampton versus, today by 5:30 p.m. we have Southampton versus Manchester City. Manchester City will be played at the St. Mary's Stadium. Yes. Tomorrow being the 9th of April, we have Leeds United versus Crystal Palace by 2 p.m. Liverpool will take on Arsenal at Anfield by 4:30 p.m. to wrap up game week 30 game week 30 for the EPL, in the EPL rather. What are your predictions? What do you think? Do you think Liverpool has what it takes to return back to winning ways against a high-flying Arsenal? Do you think Lampard has what it takes to guide Chelsea to at least win 8 games out of the remaining 9 that is left for them to play? What are your predictions? Kindly state your predictions in the comment section. And of course, my YouTube channel will be talking about the post-match analysis of today's game. My YouTube channel remains at Rahen Sports. Rahen Sports is spelled RAHENCE, then Sports, all together as one word. Rahen Sports as one word. Thank you so much for those that tends to click to listen. Thank you very, very much. Tell a friend to tell a friend that something awesome is happening here on the Anchor app. I remain your host, Ebere Oji, and this is me saying enjoy the rest of your weekend and happy Easter to the Christians out there, and happy Ramadan Mubarak rather to the Muslims out there. Enjoy the rest of your day, your weekend. Thank you. Bye.